Okay. It kind of feels like everybody knows everyone, but hello, everyone. If you could take your seat, um, have a listen. All right. Hi, I'm MJ, a journalist with Bloomberg News in Tokyo, writing about startups. We have three excellent investors here today presenting us. We're going to talk about this big topic of collaboration and how to work better within East Asia. We have Joseph from AppWorks, Cindy from Alibaba Fund, and also Kenny from Japan Coal Fund. Maybe we can go around and first introduce ourselves to the audience, starting with Joseph.
Oh, you can introduce yourself.
I said hi. I'm a
Okay.
journalist. That's
All
me.
right. Thanks for coming, and actually a lot of friends there. So okay, we'll start from our self-introduction. I'm Joseph from AppWorks. AppWorks is an accelerator and VC fund start from Taiwan. We start running our accelerator since 2010, and every year we have two batch. Each batch we have around 30 startups participating. So now we have more than 400 active startups in our ecosystem. And we started from Taiwan and gradually extend to Hong Kong and Southeast Asia. So now within recent 3-4 years, around 60% of our participants are come outside of Taiwan. So we kind of have a regional community in everywhere. And our VC fund business started from 2012. So our first fund is quite small. It's 11 million US dollar. It's almost a super angel fund, and invest in early stage startups in Taiwan and IPO in Taiwan. That's fund one. Then 2014 we raised our fund two. Now we are on our fund four. So totally we have 350 million US dollar under management and invested more than 100 startups. So our investment scope is in Southeast Asia, including Taiwan. That's around 40% of our coverage. Significant one will be KK Shopback, Carousel, and Taiwan company like 91 App. And also we have around 40% in crypto, but not liquid tokens, more infrastructure and layer one and DAO governance. And the rest 20% is more of the advantage of Taiwan, that hardware related AI and IoT things. And besides these two major business, we also do a small investment into Southeast Asia funds as an LP that make us build stronger network to helping founders. And at last, we also running a boot camp to grow engineers to support this startup. Okay, that's what we do.
Thank you so much. Cindy?
Hi everyone. I hope you can hear us because it's so noisy and so vibrant. I just found out that for this panel, I'm the only one who cannot speak Japanese. So sorry. And that's why everybody has to speak in English. And I also found out, interestingly, that everyone on this panel can speak 普通话, Chinese, or to some extent. So definitely we are a very international panel. So I'm Cindy. I'm responsible for running the Alibaba Entrepreneurs Fund. So this fund is very unique in the sense that, first of all, it is started in 2015 by Jack Ma in Hong Kong. So the group gave us 130 million US dollars to set up this fund. So we are very much like a CVC, but we focus on only financial returns because the money given to us will be, like an endowment. So you have to live on your own. You have to, continue to grow it through your investments. But then at the same time, we have a mission behind. We really want to invest into startups with a Hong Kong nexus. So it can either be based in Hong Kong or it can be an overseas startup, but once we invested into these startups, we'll try to bring them to Hong Kong and also, in southern China to help them to grow their business in this part of Asia. So far, we have 2 funds under our management. One is $80 million and all the money comes from AEF, which is Alibaba Entrepreneurs Fund in short. And we invested into 63 companies, so it is fully deployed. And I just found out that some of our portfolio are actually competitors with Joseph portfolio companies. And then there's a second fund, it's 170 million. AEF anchored the fund, and there are external money. And this fund invests also into startups in the Greater Bay Area in China. And it is still under deployment. And so in addition to investment, we also run an acceleration program called the Hong Kong AI Lab, which is, the name suggests, it's an AI-focused acceleration program. And also we run an annual tech event called Jumpstarter. And it's so if you are interested or if you are a startup founder, please check it out and try to apply. This is a global pitch competition plus a tech conference. So, and the next edition will be in March next year. So hopefully I will see you in Hong Kong next year. I'll just pause here and let Kenji to introduce himself.
Thank you very much, Cindy. And then nice to see you guys. I'm Kenichi from Cool Japan Fund. I joined 2019, and then our fund is established 2013 November, and then our mission is to expand Japan culture to go abroad. I would say kind of Japan still having a huge potential, and only kind of foreigners knows Japan local products and services, I think. And then our kind of mission is believe kind of foreigners having more kind of, how would I say, huge expect to kind of expand Japan products, I think. And then our kind of fund already invested around 1.3 billion USD, and then portfolio-wise 60. And then of course we can invest both in Japan and overseas. And then of course kind of Joseph, we have a kind of co-investment in Taiwan, is KKday. And then still our fund is at 2034. We can invest. And then how would I say? Today I would like to discuss kind of culture difference between Japan and global. I think in KKday and then through our the other portfolios, and then foreign entrepreneur find kind of good opportunities in Japan. So thank you much for kind of having today's session.
Great, thank you. I think we have a great representation today of different countries, and also like interesting is your fund is private and Cindy is a CVC, although it acts more like a financial return venture company. And then we have the Japan Cool Fund, which is actually a mix of private and government-backed funding, right? So I think first we'd like to start the discussion by talking about, how COVID happened and there's deepening conflict between US and China, which is changing the geopolitical environment. And we have this big AI topic, which everybody's interested about, how all these things are kind of changing the investing environment or the fundraising environment for our investors here. Maybe Cindy, would you like to start a discussion about AI?
Yeah. So I guess as we started back in 2015, at that time I think the whole landscape is quite different. So funding is still a lot. There is this, interest rate is still very low, and no matter it is for the VC funding, fundraising or startup fundraising, it's just much easier than before. And therefore we are seeing a lot of startups coming up, and they are able to really have a few rounds of funding, and especially those startups who are in the consumer retail where they burn a lot of money to grow their top line. And then COVID hit, and I can comment a bit on the on what I see in Hong Kong. So before COVID, after the company start their business in Hong Kong, do the proof of concept, they're think about how to expand outside of Hong Kong, because Hong Kong is very small, only 7 million population. So most of the time they will expand into mainland China or neighboring countries like Taiwan. But then COVID hits and the border is closed, and during that period we are seeing more and more entrepreneurs trying to expand to Southeast Asia. But Southeast Asia is not that easy, because Southeast Asia is not a homogeneous region. You have to do it one by one, country by country, and the language, culture, even religion is different. So I guess actually we see a lot of hurdles when they expand into Southeast Asia. So now everything seems to be back to normal, but actually it is not, because of the decoupling of the China and the U.S. relationship. So we are seeing, founders are trying to explore other markets. Going back to mainland China is one, but new markets like the Middle East is another one that is in the radar of Hong Kong entrepreneurs. So I guess this is quite different. It evolves over time with the geopolitical situation and also the overall economic situation. And then for one interesting thing that I can notice is also we are seeing more and more mainland Chinese startups trying to go overseas. Previously, the China market is very big. A lot of startups will feel that there's no need, right, for the first few years to think about going overseas, because it's so big, the market, right? If they can, grab a good share of the market, then it's already more than unicorn. But with the, softening of the China domestic economy, as well as, especially for AI companies, where the AI policy in China is still not very certain. So we are seeing more and more startups from China, especially those focusing on AI, trying to go overseas by having an overseas structure. And Hong Kong can be one of their, place where they set up a head office in Hong Kong, so they have a parallel structure, just like TikTok, right? They have Douyin in mainland China, but then a Singaporean structure for the TikTok. And they are running parallelly, and this gives them a lot of flexibility in terms of, really, weathering any uncertainties in AI policies in mainland China, but at the same time help them to really go overseas. So I guess this is a trend that I've been seeing.
It's very interesting. I think like how the mainland China startups are trying to really expand overseas with this double structure is very interesting. I'm wondering if that means, as an investor, as a venture capital, that means more opportunities to actually have exposure to these China-born startups and technologies. I don't know if that presents opportunities for you, or would you be more interested in Southeast Asia companies?
Okay. So our topic today is East Asia, but I always say that Asia is not it's a very Western world. Like, there's no such thing called Asia. There's different countries, different culture with great variance in population, in income, in culture. So back to each market, just as Cindy mentioned, that you can briefly divide this to Japan, Korea, mainland China, which is the largest one, then India, Southeast Asia. So I think each startup and country has a different preference. But for us, we mainly focus in Taiwan, Southeast Asia. Even Southeast Asia is not a region, so we focus in Vietnam, Indonesia, and Singapore. So why we choose it? Because it has the similar size of the market. Because the playbook in China and in other places is totally different. That's a 1 billion, more than 1 billion population and homogeneous. Not that homogeneous actually, but still a one market. So it's very difficult for a startup want to cover a very, very big market like China or other markets. So we prefer to have Taiwan and plus Southeast Asia and also maybe Korea and Japan. But of course, it's not doing it by once. So usually it's start from one, then quickly go to 2 or 3, then later, yeah.
How about do you see more opportunities from China-born startups or Southeast Asian countries like Joseph mentioned?
Yeah, our focusing area is 4 areas. One is related to inbound tourism, and then media content, and also fashion lifestyle, and then food and beverage. I think, of course, China is a very huge market, so that's why I think there are huge potential people who like to visit Japan, which is inbound tourism, and also they like to eat Japan ramen or tonkatsu, something Japan really products, and also, but of course we are governmental fund, and then recently would like to make more balance, and then to invest, of course, Taiwan having a lot of opportunities, people who like to visit Japan and also spending a lot of time, even they know they like to play like a ninja or something like that. So I think each country having each specific the people like to see any Japan products. So I think for us we are seeing each entrepreneur by each countries, and then to see how they can deliver any potential, how would I say, they can expand the Japanese potential. That's sense we would like to see.
And you mentioned before how your fund is very interested in media sector and entertainment, right? And you've invested in Taiwan companies and Japan, of course, Japanese companies.
Yes.
You have not yet invested in Korean companies.
That's yes, that's mysterious. So still we didn't invest in Korea, but right now, of course, we're seriously considered to find any good opportunities in Korea. But we invested in Gojek in Indonesia to expand our Japanese anime or like One Piece, Attack on Titan. They originally owned by their own OTT service. That's why through to investment we introduced Japanese content providers. So that's we can make it more synergies. Yeah.
I mean, I kind of feel like there's a lot of things about K culture and stuff, but I feel like you mentioned anime, which is a huge export content for Japan. I kind of feel like it's not being valued as much as it can be. I wonder if you, as an investor expert in investing in media sector, what do you think about how Japan can market itself better to global investors?
Yeah, I think IP products. I mean, animation and manga. I think already huge. But from my perspective, Japanese people, I think, not good at marketing compared to Korea. I think that's why recently, Webtoon, they listed in New York, and then they're very successfully doing an IPO. Is because they know each country's a potential customers' appetite. That's why they can change their business model to be more comfortable and more interesting, to be attracted for the customers in Southeast Asia. So that's why I think, of course, IP products in Japan. Sorry.
You have to take my closer.
Sorry. So Japan. Sorry. So Japanese content is having huge potential, but I would say need to be focusing on more marketing or cooperate between foreigners, foreign entrepreneurs. I think that's needed. I think.
Maybe we can ask about from both Cindy and also Joseph, which sectors in Asia do you think are the hottest place to invest in as an investor? I think this is something everybody would be curious to listen about. Maybe.
Okay. Again, the most fundamental thing is that Taiwan, Hong Kong, Japan, Korea is developed, but if you're looking at Southeast Asia, don't forget that in their population, median age is still 20 some. In Thailand, it's 40, but in Vietnam, it's 24. And the GDP is still in very single high digit. So you can kind of take a reference of the playbook of the lifestyle improvement in these developed countries. So anything with some consumer behavior, although it's empowered by mobile internet, that will be different. But it's a similar pattern, so we can see that personal financial management and some lifestyle things and a lot of business service and even human resource management. That sounds so absolute. It's still a new thing and important thing in Southeast Asia. So in short, it still go back to the demographic and macro development, and we still see a lot of opportunities there. And with a twist, that's AI native and mobile native.
For our fund, our future focus will be more on the application of AI. So, everybody is talking about AI right now. And actually, for us, we have been looking into the AI sector since 2018. And that is the reason why at that time we already set up an acceleration program in Hong Kong, focusing on AI startups. And even for Alibaba Group, I guess the management has already said we will be all in AI, but their strategy will be quite different. They will be more focusing on the really the foundational model, the LLM models. So if you read the news, Alibaba has invested into a number of very big LLMs in China. So I guess they just need to, they cannot pick anyone, but just invest so that they will have good coverage on their investment. But for a fund, not as with so much as much money as our mom or our parent, we are more focusing on application of AI into different sectors, including like financial services like fintech, and also consumer retail, and also healthcare. These also be able to apply to emerging markets, especially in Southeast Asia, as Joseph has alluded to. It is a very young, a very young demographics, a lot of potentials for industries to have disruptions or even to do better with the use of AI.
So related to AI, I think for me recently a lot of kind of AI startups I think coming to kind of listen our kind of appetite, and then I think I would say pure AI company is for us, of course, we need to see their more vertical kind of potential, like as kind of the AI related to food and beverage, like related to some other products. That's I think kind of more strengthen their kind of their potential. I think it's because recently pure AI companies, a lot of AI companies coming out, and then for me, I don't have not so much kind of expertise, so cannot kind of distinguish which is really huge potential, which is very good kind of collaboration for kind of Japan products. That's why I think more vertical angle is a very important I think right now.
And speaking of AI, I mean, we have to speak about regulations as well. We talked about a little bit backstage with each country kind of having to come up with different regulations without a lack of a global standard. I don't know, is there a way we can kind of work together in Asia to support each other in building a good AI foundation in Asia? Is that something that is doable, or is this kind of too idealistic? Would this mean like a greater decoupling of countries, or can Asia kind of work together kind of in coming out with a good, strong technology or startup relating to AI? Is that, what do you think? Is that?
Yeah, I think and I hope that will be something that we can do together because I guess in the West, I would think not many big tech companies will be able to, or will be interested to, say, for example, having an LLM with a based on the Thai language, for example, or the Thai culture, right? In order for the Asia AI to really prosper, I guess it will be really. I hope that there will be some collaborations among different countries to have a platform so that we can really build a platform or a big LLM for for the region.
How about Joseph? What do you think?
Just as Cindy mentioned that for us, we kind of leave those tough jobs to big companies like you. But for startups, what we can see now is that in our portfolio, of course, there are some utilizing some open source one and doing customization. But from the country strategic side, I think it's more important to have their own data set for each sovereign country. Like for underlying technology have to be developed by a very big institution or even a country, but the specific data set have to maintain by each sovereign countries. And with the improving of the computing power and technology, we can imagine that in next 3-5 years, maybe they will retrain the whole model from scratch in every, say, 3 or 5 years. So the data set itself is more important, and the data should be clean and more prepared for model training. That's my 2 cents.
Thank you. It is a very difficult question. Would you like to add anything, Kenny?
Yeah, I think in my sense, every countries, every people having different approach to, like for example, the purchase online products, something like that. And the AI, I think simply say, is a kind of automation to utilize more kind of people's activities. That's my understanding. So that's why I think in any case, let's say open innovation, like between Japan and Korea, like Taiwan and Hong Kong. Every countries, every people having their different perspective to purchase anything and also seeing anything. That's why, which is I think still having kind of potential, yeah, to for entrepreneurs, I think, yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Also, if there are investors in the audience, I guess so if you are investing in the AI projects in the West, you should also allocate some money to invest in the East. You don't want to lose out, right? Especially when I don't want to use the word decoupling, but more regionalized. For the last 2 decades, it will be a globalization. Right now, we are going into the phase of regionalization. So if you are an investor, you want to invest not only in the West, but also have allocation in different regions to make sure that you won't lose out.
Right. Yes, regionalization. Yes, great word. I did want to ask also Cindy about you talked about how the funding raising environment has also changed, and how there's less kind of interaction between Taiwan and Hong Kong, and Hong Kong's in a unique position right now with all the different changes geopolitically. And how has the fundraising environment changed for you, and what are some of the challenges that you need to overcome, do you feel like, as raising fund for your Hong Kong fund or Taiwan fund?
Well, I guess it is really tough because I guess a lot of like the U.S. or the West LPs are no longer allocating to funds in China, which of course Hong Kong is part of China. So even though for Hong Kong we still have our own rules of law with common law, we have our own currency, and we don't have any foreign exchange controls, etc., etc. It is still in a very tricky position right now. So I guess the most important thing is to really demonstrate to the potential LPs the uniqueness of Hong Kong and China. So despite the fact that China's economy is softening, we believe, we trust, and I am really convicted that there are a lot of potentials. First of all, China's population is talking about 1.3 billion, and they have the largest middle class in the world, which is close to 700 million. And these middle class are those who can really spend. It is only because now the sentiment is not good that they are not spending. And then secondly, despite the China plus one concept, I guess China's the whole supply chain can never is very hard to replace, and therefore we believe that with the application of AI, there will be a lot of potentials in enhancing a lot of industries in China itself. So I guess there's no better way of but to provide to the potential LPs the values that our investment thesis can bring to them in the future.
Thank you so much. And I am curious, like under the current environment, where is the money coming from? Maybe also from Joseph, Kenny, like when you guys are raising funds for your new fund, existing fund, like where is the new money coming from? Like.
Okay, so as Cindy mentioned in the very beginning, that interest hike really changed everything. That's still the most fundamental thing that affect macro. So yes, funding is more difficult than a few years ago, but luckily we are already on our fund 4, so we have existing investors to support us, mainly from Taiwan, and we are also exploring opportunity in Singapore, Japan, and Korea, and with the angle with cross-border cooperation. But I would say it's still very, very tough.
How about you, Kenny? I mean, you are government backed, but for the private sector, how's the fundraising environment for you? Like,
I think our fund is a little bit unique. So let's say we are kind of sovereign fund, so that's why in old days we kind of raised a amount from private companies. But right now only kind of raising from Japanese government. So so a little bit different, yeah.
thank you. Maybe just a little bit more on this topic, and then I think maybe we can open up to the audience. If you both, Cindy and Joseph, both mentioned like funding is a bit difficult and challenging right now. When do you see markets becoming a little bit more open, a little bit more flexible, and things becoming better for you to raise funds? When will this happen? How could it happen?
I wish I know. Sounds like the question to the Fed. Yeah, but we think there's no more interest hike, but it's still stable right now. But I think there is still at least 6 to 12 months that funding will be pretty strict. But we are kind of in the middle. It's difficult for us to do fundraising. It's tough, but it's also the best time for us to invest in growth stage company, because in the past 2 years, in few years before interest hike, valuation rate went high, and every company just want to go for the top line growth, just as Cindy mentioned. But now everyone is more practical, and we really see some time-tested founder and can be investing in a reasonable valuation. So it's the best time for us to invest. And back to your question, maybe another 6 to 12 months.
Well, for VC, fundraising is very tough. But then, luckily, we have the Hong Kong government trying to, really reposition Hong Kong. I guess Hong Kong has really gone through a very difficult position with the COVID, the lockdown, and also the geopolitical situation. We are locked between China and US, even though we always try to stay in a unique position, but it's very hard, right? You cannot, come up and say you are not part of China, or we have different things. So people outside will still see us differently. So it's really tough, and that's why the government has been putting a lot of money trying to, really reposition Hong Kong as an innovation and technology hub. So if you are startups and you want to raise money, come to Hong Kong. There are a lot of programs that the government will directly invest into the startups, as well as, no matter what stage, from very seed to very big ticket. So we set up the Hong Kong Investment Corp, which is like Temasek in Singapore, and they write very big checks. And then through the Hong Kong Science Park and Cyberport, you will be able to get smaller checks if you are a early stage startups. So I guess it will be actually pretty good, pretty friendly for startups to come and raise money from Hong Kong. But VC, like Joseph said, I hope it will get better soon, because we are also, trying to do a fundraising right now.
Thank you. Would you like to add?
Yeah, I would firstly say sorry. I don't have any kind of tough situation for fundraising, but cause that's why we're very unique fund. So and also that's why sometimes, of course, we do funds on fund, like investing as LP fund. So I think I would like to support more kind of open ecosystem, like together with Asian startups, like as Upworks and then Alibaba Fund. Like
Okay.
that's what we need.
So you sign us a check afterwards, right?
Yes. Okay.
Great. Anybody from the audience would like to ask questions? We have a great mix of representation from different types of VCs. Anybody? Anyone? You can 日本語でも大丈夫です。Japanese, English. Anyone like to ask questions? Nothing? Nobody?
Thank you for the talk. My question is, how will VC support student startups, especially students within college right now? And how would VCs, especially in Hong Kong and East Asia, support students working on projects in the US? If they want to do... Oh yeah, sorry. So how would VC support startups, student founders, working in the US but want to start a company in East Asia?
Okay, I will take this. Your question is how VC will support student startup in States or in South Asia? I think. Hope to go. Okay, first of all, student is not just that only means you are young and no working experience, but student itself is not plus or minus. And go South Asia, I would say usually it takes more time and more real world connection. Very anything can do South Asia purely online, other than TikTok. So I think that will be the main thing you have to consider. That's a very kind of 20, 30, even 50% offline thing.
Would you like to?
Well, if you are working in the U.S., I guess Hong Kong is a place where English is very you can use English to get around easily, and the rules of law is also quite very straightforward. So maybe you can start from Hong Kong first, and then explore the region, including Taiwan, Japan, or Southeast Asia. So yeah. So and there are quite lots of programs, and I don't think any visas is required for the first few years, right? We have a Hong Kong government rep here, Invest Hong Kong. You can ask him later on.
I'm also same idea. Of course, Japan also having opportunities, to establish starting kind of startups from overseas. I mean U.S. But like of course Hong Kong, I think is more kind of English friendly countries. Of course in Japan, I think I would say some Shibuya, any other kind of accelerator, they can help to kind of start kind of startups in Japan. I think, yeah.
Did that answer your question? Okay, thank you. Anybody else from the audience would like to ask questions? Yes.
Yeah, thank you very much for your good insights here. This is really interesting for me. In East Asia, what do you see as like the hottest ticket right now in terms of technology, or like, is it a technology? Is it a social impact, or what's the focus on right now?
I think yeah, we're a little bit yeah, focusing area is a little bit different, but like as I say, we are of course focusing on related to Japan, the products and the services. But of course, recently, as I mentioned, a lot of startups saying we're AI. the kind of key words is I think recently coming up a lot. So I think need to set up company more distinguish what they're doing and then what is the differences the other AI startups. That's I think very important. That's my idea.
I think you actually hit on the two keywords that we are focusing on. Is the use of AI and apply to different industries to improve the efficiency or to disrupt the existing industry, and then by doing so, we hope to see also bringing in impacts in the industry, because say for example how we say for example we are burning a lot of energy right now in our data center for the AI algorithm. So how we can use AI to maybe better control the power, so that it can have a better or weather friendly business model. So this will be something I think will interest us a lot. And indeed, as I mentioned about our Jumpstarter program, which we are going to call out for application very soon, we are focusing this year on AI plus sustainability. So this is what we are really focusing on. Not only efficiency or disruption, but also be friendly to our environment.
Yeah. For our fund is private ones, and so we are looking at how founder can leverage the change, because for status quo is always for big players, right? So since 2010, not 2012, we are looking at that it's a mobile internet. Now it's blockchain and Southeast Asia, but I have to say, with this few big paradigm shift happen in past 2-3 decades, AI is the one extremely difficult for startup founder to leverage. It's changed too fast, and actually it's favor people with more data. So we are still figuring out, identify how founders can leverage it.
Does that answer your question? Thank you, thank you. All right, I think maybe we'll close the session with some final remarks from our panelists. Your final moment to PR your fund.
Yeah. Our fund is a very unique, and then I think still I hope in Japan a lot of things having huge potential, like as sake and then bonsai. I think Japanese younger people no one care about this, but a lot of foreigners they like to purchase and then invest even. So that's kind of local products having huge potential. I think that's more likely need to foreigner support we needed. So I like to see a lot of foreigners entrepreneurs. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Cindy.
So we are also very unique in the sense that we are like any VC driving for financial return, but then we are also able to tap into the big Alibaba ecosystem, the resources to help our portfolio to grow, especially if you are an AI company. I think the data sets that we will be able to, really make use of will be something very unique to train your model. And so is in Hong Kong, we have a new science park where it is a combination of Hong Kong and also the other part, which is Shenzhen. And so the data within both regions, Hong Kong and Shenzhen or mainland China, can be used by startups that reside in the park. And this is also very unique. So yeah, so I think I've done enough advertising for Hong Kong.
Joseph.
Yeah, we run Accelerator for more than 10 years, so we have a very strong founder community, over 1,000 founders, and with variety of the expertise and resource in Taiwan, Indonesia, Vietnam, Singapore, Hong Kong, even Hong Kong. Yeah, and we are also an investor for 10 years. We know a little bit in Southeast Asia, blockchain, and our anchor LP, Taiwan Mobile, which is second largest mobile operator in Taiwan, also acquired crypto license just yesterday. So anything you do, probably we can help.
Great. Thank you so much. Thank you, Joseph, Cindy, and Kenny. Thank you so much. And thank you, everyone, for your time and attention.